Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoe, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas, keep. You with me, sheesh. But need OG keep.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I bust soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in the room. I been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lower, I don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't be labeled like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low, but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I bust soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my broom. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones are down and I dare the show. So way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shootin' it's breaks, I'm going in a new gig, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit that I'm going. Just how I'm doing this shit that I'm going. Ayy, just how I'm doing this shit that I'm going.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.
Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, Bitcoin finally creeping up towards that $115,000 key level of resistance that we've been looking at for quite some time now. Obviously, we are long from the bottom here. That trade is playing out very nicely. But as we approach this key level of resistance, what is likely to happen here, guys? Because not only is this a big level of resistance, but it is also a big level that, if flipped to support, could indicate much higher prices for Bitcoin. What is going to happen next? We're going to cover it on tonight's live stream. We're going over the key levels. We'll show the trades. Still in my scalp short from that market update that you guys saw earlier today. I don't know. Maybe it'll stop out. It's in profit right now. We'll see, but no big deal because that long is much bigger than the short, or at least much more in profit there. So I am covered. Couldn't resist with that super low risk there to take that short position. So we're going to cover everything for you guys tonight. Let you know my overall thoughts on Bitcoin and where I think price is headed next, so we can find that next saucy trade, which is potentially getting very close. So shout out to the Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate everybody for tuning into the chat here. Let's see. We got Jesse in the chat. What is going on, guys? He is our like police. Don't forget to smash that like button. We will be doing a giveaway on Friday, which is going to be tomorrow, because that's what comes after Thursday. So we will be doing a giveaway tomorrow, but smash up that like button, guys. Let's try to get 550 likes on tonight's live stream. We got Crypto Billy in the chat. Hashtag Givers Game. Welcome in, Crypto Billy. Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Shout out to Georgie, says, in one more pullback, hug, bro. Shout out to Georgie. I'm not 100% sure what that means. Yeah, I don't really know. But shout out to you, bro. Thank you for tuning in. We got Jenzy in the chat, said, tell us, Frankie, what does the magic ball says? What does the magic ball says? What does the magic ball say? The magic ball says we're going to zero, guys. No, I'm just kidding. As you guys know, I do have a longer-term bullish bias here for Bitcoin, but that could change very, very quickly if we get some rejections at these next three key levels of resistance. So we do have a lot of work to do, but it is looking nice, guys. Let's just celebrate here. We're up about, what is this move? About, what is it, like 5% maybe? Which seems absolutely massive. Yeah, almost 7% from the bottom. Not too bad. But yeah, hopefully we could get some much better price action in here, guys. We're just kind of grinding up. But it is nice because we have broken above local support. That could indicate a little bit more strength here for Bitcoin. We got Darren Does Things in the chat. Welcome in. We got Buddy in the chat. Says 2. T.O. Shout out to Buddy. Welcome in, bro. Good morning from New Zealand. Shout out to Harry tuning in all the way from New Zealand. I love it. Giga Longbottom in the chat said, Givers Gain. Drinking too much gives you liver pains. Shout out to Giga Longbottom. That is, preach, brother. Preach. But without further ado, guys, we got a lot to look at here on the charts. Hey, shout out to excuse me, Crypto Chicano says, thanks, Frankie. Long-time listener. Haven't messaged in a while. Looking to rebuild my wealth after losing it last cycle. Well, shout out to Crypto Chicano. Well, not only will we look at the local levels, the trades, the the day trade levels, but we will also take a look at those higher time frames and kind of talk about the health of the cycle and the biggest levels to get above to indicate that there's a higher probability that the top is not in rather than the top on Bitcoin coming in at $124,500 or wherever it came in. So we'll cover that with you as well. Thank you for tuning in, brother. And without further ado, alt season soon. Shout out to Bitfrog. We'll talk about that as well. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. All right, so here we are, guys. And as you can see here, I was just kind of measuring here behind the scenes. You guys see my secret analysis. But obviously, guys, I'll just kind of go over very briefly the high time frames here. Obviously, we are holding our macro key level of support, $107,000 to $208,000. On the macro anchored VWAP, the bull market support band, absolutely beautiful. I am holding my long position here basically from the tippy bottom. I showed this on the market update, and for the past, ever since since the same trade I've been holding, up about $3,300 now. Obviously got a little bit of negative fees, but that's totally fine. We're up plenty here to cover the fees, plus much, much, much profit. And here is that little scalp short that I talked about in the market update earlier, guys. Pretty much still sitting here at break even. And part of the reason why I did look for that scalp short position here, let me go ahead and get rid of those brushes, right? Part of the reason there was, you guys know, right? Biggest level of resistance, right? The biggest levels of resistance and support on the chart for, ever since we came down here, 107 to 108, all the way up here to 114 or 115 to 115.7. But this zone did drag down just a little bit to this daily MPOC, which was pretty much the start of the zone. But when you look at the confluence here, obviously we just have a daily MPOC here. And then up here, we have really where the most of that confluence starts, right? You get the weekly MPOC, the monthly MPOC, the value area low, and that monthly horizontal sitting up here at 115.7. So still, I hate to say it again, right? But I am still personally most interested in coming up into that $115,000 zone. Could we get a little pullback here? Yes. Am I positioned in a little bit of a scalp short? Yes. Do I expect this to play out in a massive way? I mean, I hope not, to be quite honest. And I'll show the key levels of support that we talked about earlier today as well. But at the end of the day, guys, this is looked at as a scalp. Very, very low risk here. If I get stopped out of this position, it's like almost break even because my stop loss is so tight here. So I'll take a very small loss on that, and then obviously the long will continue to pay me out here. So I got plenty of room to take a little bit of a small loss on that scalp short, and still it's more of like a hedged position here. So just be aware of that. Maybe we'll get stopped out live on stream, and it will be proven to the public that Frankie Candles does not win every single trade. That is not the case. So we'll keep an eye on that. But 107, 108 to 115K, guys. We are just, barely creeping up here. Yesterday, our thumbnail was, can we make it to 115K? It does look like we might want to come up and grab that level. Now, not only do we have those key levels of resistance, but we also have some liquidity sitting up there as well. I'll come up and pull over the liquidation heat map here. Oh, good Lord. Pull this back down here. So as you guys can see here, right? Little bit of liquidity left up here leading into that $115,000 zone. And obviously, can't unsee this, right? Still a bunch of liquidity sitting down towards $107,000, right? But right now, the kind of nice sign here is we are finally above this major level of resistance, right? If I were to just draw this out with a box and, keep all the intricate levels off the chart, right? We have flipped this level of support. This is very, very, very nice. Yesterday, we cracked above this level. We flipped that anchored VWAP / value area high / we had another level down there as well. It's just the structural highs. We have now broken above that, right? This is nice to see. We're above. We flipped it to support. We continue to grind to the upside. We even came down and tested that level one more time. But we are grinding up, right? So we are flipping resistance into support, at least locally, which is very nice to see that $115,000 level come in. And other than the scalp position, guys, I if I didn't take this little scalp, I'd just still be waiting for this $115,000 level. And you might say, well, if you're waiting for this bigger level, Frankie, why did you even bother taking a short? And at the end of the day, we just had some local confirmations here, guys. Very, nothing really too crazy, but we did have a nice little 1 hour bearish divergence, which didn't wind up giving us much to the downside, right? We kind of just, got into the trade, instantly started pulling back here. Actually, it might have been up here. Instantly started pulling back, and now we're just chopping sideways again. But we did have that bearish divergence, so I didn't just take this for no reason. But now we're printing another green dot on that 1 hour. So, I almost expect to get stopped out of this position. But again, not a big deal because of my position here in that long. So who knows, right? Maybe we play around here a little bit, get a little bit of a retracement, and I will talk about those key levels to the downside in just a minute. But just generally here, guys, like very nice to be above this key level of support, right? As long as we can hold above these levels generally, I do think that, there is a good chance that even if we do pull back, that we can continue to get a move into 115K. Now, if I pull up our local volume profile here, guys, you can see the value area high is also confluent with the structural highs, the anchored VWAP, etc. So, losing this level is honestly not going to be a great sign in my opinion, and it's not that I would flip like super, super bearish, but, at that point, it's kind of hard to say if we're going to push up here first. I would love to see that 115K level tap first, but if we do come down, just to have you guys prepared with those local key levels of support, anchored VWAP coming in at 113,250, and then that value area high sitting at about 112,941. So if we do pull back here, right, we start taking out these lows, you really want to hold on top of that value area low, because if we start breaking back down here, it could indicate that we're going to head back down towards that POC and eventually that value area low, which will be a big level that I will be looking at for some potential long positions. And the reason for that is because we do have a little bit of confluence down there. And for what it's worth, we also do have some confluence here on the value area high with our local Fibonacci retracement here. So I talked about this in the market update. When you look at this, right, if you are going to come down, I wouldn't say it's like the best level, but it is definitely important, right? Because if you come down here, you want to hold that golden pocket 786 for that move back up to continue your higher low, higher high structure here into that bigger level of resistance. However, once you lose this 786 sitting at 112,628, it is much more likely, in my opinion, to get that drop down towards the point of control and potentially that value area low. Could we get a bounce off the PLC? Maybe. As I always say, guys, the saucier trades are always going to be at the value area low. It doesn't mean, right, like even here, right, you fill that volume profile in full. We get the bounce off the POC. This was indicated as a nice support level and a potential possibility to continue that uptrend just based off our 4-hour money flow. The money flow indicates the overall trend within the context of the time frame that you're looking at. In this case, looking at the 4-hour, right, you would expect the 4-hour, that trend would just be in the context of the 4-hour. This does not step on the fact that we do have that daily money flow coming out. So it is nice that we're seeing the push up, guys, but I cannot, be more explicit about this. We are approaching some major, major resistance here at 115 to 115.7. And with the daily money flow crossing into the red and still in the red here, attempting to come back up, I wouldn't even say this is something to talk about, right? It's in the red just generally. Your VWAP has been above the zero line for quite some time here, right? About 10 days with that VWAP above the zero line. At some point, this is going to cool off. If we wind up getting the cool off and that red dot into the 115K zone and potentially the daily MPOC here, these are both areas to put in lower highs, right? And if we get that red dot with the money flow coming out, right, what do we always look at what is the context always in this case, right? Well, hey, we got a nice bounce. We got some bullish divergences on the 4-hour. We're long from the bottom. Absolutely beautiful. But with that daily money flow coming out, it could be a lackluster bounce for a lower high and a potential lower low. And not only could you be looking at that in the context of the money flow, but also understanding that you do have all that liquidity sitting below 107K. Now, I am not someone who's going to sit up here and say that just because we have that liquidity below 107K that we have to go take it, right? You'll see a lot of people talk about heat maps be like, we have to go sweep that liquidity. Now, that's not how I look at the heat maps, guys. I'm only going to take that liquidity into account, right, if we get closer to it, right? If we come on down here, maybe we get a bounce off the value area high. That's definitely an area where you can get the higher low at. And this is also confluent with the golden pocket, right? If we pull from the low to the high, you can see that golden pocket is very confluent here with that value area low. Just to kind of explain, not just give you the key levels, but show you why I like that for a higher low. You have your low, your high, your higher low, your higher high. But, once you get a little bit closer, once you get a little bit closer to that liquidity, that's kind of where I look at that as an opportunity to potentially come down. Let's say you don't get a setup here at the value area low, you lose the range, you're cooking to the downside. You have all this liquidity, and what do we know about liquidity? It acts as a magnet for price and also gives us opportunities for potential swing failure patterns. So that is still something I would be looking at. At this point, I would prefer not to come down there, to be quite honest, because we've already broken structure here. It actually looks nice if we can it would look much better if we can just continue up from here. But if we had to get a drop down, I want you guys to be aware of that liquidity and what I'll be expecting when we come back down there, if we have to. Local levels, volume profile, this has not really moved. Value area high at 112,940 with the line in the sand, right? It's typically the value area high is the level you don't want to get stuck underneath in order to call for the POC, but technically you could slip here slightly into the 786 and get the bounce. So I would say the line in the sand to the POC or the doorway to the POC would technically be the 786 at 112,618, and then just underneath that you have the $111,219 point of control and the value area low sitting down here at 109,927. So those are the biggest levels here. that I will be looking at locally. But for the most part, I mean, come on, Bitcoin. Just cook us to the 115K level, right? I don't care if you stop me out of the short position. Pay us out on the long a little bit more, and then we can look for that bigger short position down. And when I talk about this 115K zone, guys, this is also, right, if we pull from our higher low, or our lower high to the lower low, you can see that 786 is also confluent at that 115. You know, how do you want to separate this, right? You look at it as one big zone, or, you know, most of the confluence here is really sitting between 115 to 115. Zoom in here to get a little bit more accurate. To about 115, 183, right? So this is going to be a huge level, and because it is a 786, I'll take this golden pocket off the chart so I don't confuse everybody, right? This 786, like the areas where we would be looking for lower highs and lower lows based off the fact that we have our daily money flow coming out are obviously going to be on the Fibonacci retracements. So with that 786 confluent with this level, guys, I cannot stress enough how strong and important of a level of resistance this is. So, you know, this could be an area where you put the lower high in, right? So I just want everyone to be aware of that. But when you have major resistance like this, if this does not hold us back and we're able to break above it, that is the first sign of strength, as we've been talking about forever here, because we've been covering the same price action every day. Absolutely brutal. But once we get above this, right, you have that monthly sitting here at about 115.7. You know, once you get above this value area low, all that resistance could flip to support. And once we get above that and hold, guys, I would see that as a sign of strength. And the next target would simply be up here towards about $118,000. Technical level sitting between 117.5 all the way up to 118.5. We also have a little bit of liquidity up there, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking at. The next levels that I am interested in shorts are going to be, actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me unextend this and right. I'll just draw it as a box, right? So for me personally, the next short opportunities, right? Now, not that you would just come hit this level and take a short, right? You got to know what confirmations to look for. This is what we cover in the premium Discord. What am I doing here? Let me just unextend this, right? So like the next big levels are really going to be right here. Right, 115 to 115.7, and then the second level is just going to be sitting up here on this purple box, right? Those are the next two big levels of resistance to look at. And then as we work our way up, right, I would love to say, get above here. Let's fill the volume profile and go for all-time highs. I'm not going to lie. I am tempted to say once we flip this level here that I am looking for all-time highs. But it's just very hard for me to do. And why is that, guys? Because as long as that daily money flow is coming out, we go ahead and pull up the a clean chart here. This golden pocket 786, right? This is pulled from the high to the low. If I'm just looking at this as a naked chart with a Fibonacci retracement and the idea that this daily money flow is coming out, and honorable mention here as well, 2-day money flow also headed to the downside. This makes us look for lackluster bounces, lower highs and lower lows. Could happen at the levels that we're at right now and up into 115K into that 786. And the next two levels that we would look at that for are the full Fibonacci retracement. We know those lower highs are very likely to come in on golden pockets or 786s. And with this being our full level, right, our full Fib retracement of this entire move, these are the last levels to look for those lower highs and lower lows. So as much as I would like to say get above 115K all-time highs, you do still have to be careful around that golden pocket and that 786, because it would just not be shocking here to put in lower highs and lower lows. Hopefully, we don't get confirmations. We break above. Hopefully, we don't get confirmations. Once you break above that 786, which, by the way, does sit at $120,800. I can't get my cursor on there. $120,846. Once we get above that, hold it as support. Cook it to all-time highs. It's the same situation as I explained earlier today in the update video. It's the same situation that we were in right here. Right? It's like literally almost exactly the same. We had a little mini range. We broke down. We got back in. And let me just pull this up on a lower time frame. What am I doing here? Whoops. Right, so you have your volume profile, right? You break down out of the range. This was identifiable based off the 4-hour money flow. But what happens, right? You come back into the range. Once you get above that level, you can look to go to the POC and the value area high. And once you get above that 786, that's where you're looking for the opportunity to put in a new all-time high. And what happens? We get above it. We get a little correction, and then once we get back above here, that gives you the all-time high. Unfortunately, it was a fake out. But luckily for the Mafia, we make money whether price goes up or down because we are traders, and we were able to capitalize on that move to the downside in the premium and make a bunch of money on that drop. But it's the same idea here, right? Like when we looked at this on the weekly time frame, we said, hey guys, you do not want to reject that 786 on the weekly. If we get that, it's going to increase the probabilities of coming down and putting in a lower low on price. You have the high. This is where the fib is pulled from here to here. You have the high, the low, the lower high, and the lower low. And sometimes you can creep above that 786 briefly on lower time frames, but when you get that rejection on the weekly, it's like, well, hey, you clearly rejected that 786 and got the SFP of the high. At that point, you're just going to patiently wait for that break of structure to the downside, which we did get in a very big way, where we wound up closing the short position and obviously flipping long for the long position I'm holding right now. So very similar situation here on our current price action, right? We just have a little bit of a different outlook here because the range is a bit bigger, but it's the same exact thought process, right? Price action is fractal, right? It does not matter. It's the same idea. Here's your range. Breakdown, money flow comes out, you look for lower highs and lower lows, and then once we get back into this range, right, we can look for that continuation up through the profile, but if we can't hold above that 786 at 120,000 at $120,800, right? Well, what can we look for? We can look for a lower high, and that would indicate, right, a potential lower low coming for a break of structure, just like it was here. Break structure, right? So it could be the same thing. That's what I'll be looking at. That's why I am like a little more hesitant to say like, hey guys, break above this value area low. Let's fill the profile and cook it into all-time highs. It is definitely going to be, hey, great. We flip massive resistance to support, but still a very important contextual key level and still up here on the value area high. This is the guide you would expect price to follow anyway. Flip the low, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the high. But both of these levels are those macro Fibonacci retracements. So you have to be very, very careful. And at the end of the day, guys, we're already looking for potential short setups up here in the premium Discord. And if we do get above here and come into the 786, well, what do we have, right? Deviation above the high, right? If we get those confirmations, you could just look for shorts back down into the range. And then we'll assess kind of what it looks like. Are we going to put in a higher low and break out? Are we going for the lower low? I would say rejecting that 786 would be very similar to here, looking for that break of structure to the downside. But there is opportunity based off money flow. If the daily money flow is coming back up or something like that, we could look for higher lows and higher highs. But my base thought here is if we get the big rejection here at the 786, it's probably not going to look very good. But we'll cover that price action when we get there. But this is my overall thoughts, guys. Just holding the long. Still holding the short. Short is just like a straight up tease here. I'm up $1.70, $1.83, guys. Look at that. We're rich. We're rich. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm happy to get stopped out of this position. It's no big deal for the reasons I explained earlier. Shout out to New Earth Guardian said, what is going on? Shout out to New Earth Guardian. Welcome in, bro. Should we change our intro from what is going on to just like, I don't know, something else? Let's see. SEI just cooking away, about to hit 34 cents. Let's go 45. Hey, shout out to 12 Big. Maybe we'll take a look at SEI in a minute. We'll take a look at AVAX. We'll take a look at Ethereum, Solana. We'll take a look at some of the altcoins, obviously Ethereum as well. I'm just going to jump into the chat here real quick. Shout out to Daniel. Says, Frankie, at what point are you planning on closing the long position? So the way I handle these longs, or I mean, the way I handle any trade really is, you know, my main target here is $115,000, right? So this is technically, in the premium Discord, our first target for this was $111,000. We hit this. I did not take profit at $111,000, and during that time, I let you guys know why, because there was a probability of potentially coming back down here to sweep the lows again, in which case I was just looking to add to that position. We didn't get that to play out. It was fine. I'm still holding a portion of the position, still up over $3,000, not too bad, but it is, I did not take profit for that reason. We just kept cooking to the upside. So at this point, right, like I could take profit here, but I am really just waiting for this bigger target, and I just, this is up so much that, you know, and we've already broken above resistance. If the question is where I would close the trade in full, I don't really have a plan here to close the trade in full. Let me see if I can. Let me see here real quick. Here it is. Okay, so really, the technical target for this, right, like the final target, is the possibility of potentially new all-time highs, right? And why is that? Well, very simply put, when you look at this from a high time frame perspective, you have your, whoops, pull this to the low, right? You have your golden pocket. So if we are looking at this as a low, a high, a higher low, and a potential higher high, it has the possibility of coming into all-time highs. But I will say, you know, the first take profit for me personally, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, right, 111 was technically a take profit. I didn't take profit there because of my specific plan for this trade. I was looking at it as a little bit more of a swing trade, which it 100% has turned into, as it has been in play for, 10 days now. But this whole area is kind of a take profit, right? Because the original zone here was from the daily MPOC up to the $115,000 level. So this is kind of TP1. Once we get it back into the volume profile, we could look at POC for TP2. And then once you come up to the value area high, that would technically be a third take profit for me. And then at that point, I typically let a portion of the trade run in case this thing wants to rip up to 130K. Then I'll just hold a portion of that position. So I'm not looking to just close this in full at any certain time, right? It's more for me, take a little off the table, let the rest run, or maybe take 3 take profits. There's many ways you can do that. It's really individual to the trader. Everyone has a specific plan. So for me personally, I'll wait till we hit here. And then maybe if we come up to the POC and it looks good, right? Maybe we smash through the POC, right? And that would totally change. I wouldn't have time to take profit at the POC. I would have to take it at the value area high. But when it comes to volume profiles, typically when you reapproach, when you're entering a trade below a volume profile, right? So let's say you have your value area high, your POC, your value area low. Price comes on down, you deviate below, you take the long position. Usually TP1 is going to be as you approach that value area low, right? And then once you get back in, you can look at the POC and the value area high as your second and third take profits. And then you can just let that winner run for as long as you want, right? Because at that point, your stop loss could be at break even or in profit. If it comes down, you get stopped out in massive profit. If it continues to run, you keep that opportunity open to continue to make some money. And right now, you could see we have deviated below the low. I'll even turn off this local profile so it's a little cleaner, right? You deviate below the low, right? Well, now we're at that value area low. This is definitely going to be key resistance until proven otherwise, but I don't want to close this whole trade, right? And the reason for that is because if we flip this, there could be much more to run, right? And I want to capitalize on that while also locking in profits and protecting myself from getting absolutely wrecked. So there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. Shout out to C7, said, Frankie, will you not add to the trade at all? Maybe if we pull back a bit and keep support. Yeah, shout out to C7. Depending on the situation here, right? Like my ideal situation there was that we would kind of come up, right? Come back down, sweep that liquidity. This would have given us a very nice daily bullish divergence, and still potentially could if we come down from where we are now. But at this point, right, like it's going to be difficult at this point, right? Because if we come on down here, I could say like places where I might be interested would be the golden pocket, right, which is obviously confluent with the value area low, as I just showed, right? So you have your low, your high, right? Maybe we come down for a higher low on the golden pocket, or even the 786. But even then, it's like you're so close to this liquidity. I don't know. It might be more likely to take that. But yeah, in general, right, when you're in a long position like this, I mean, heck, you could have come down here, added to the long position. You could have added to the long position. I personally did not because, I was waiting for lower. And you might say, like, well, hey, you missed your opportunity to add. Well, it's totally fine, right? Like, I don't care. I just missed out on extra gains. It doesn't take away from the fact that you make money on the trade, right? Oh, my God, we're down $23 on the short, guys. Oh, my God. We're never going to recover. We're never going to recover, guys. Yeah, I would say like, big levels. I mean, maybe even if you retested the value area high, depending on what the chart looked like at the time, you could potentially add there. But at this point, I'm letting it ride. Maybe if we come down to this golden pocket and things look really, really nice, you could add there, or I would personally maybe add there. But again, like once you get down here, it's like that liquidity is going to act like a stronger and stronger magnet the closer you get to it. So I'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, for sure, it's not like I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to add on retracements at all. Like I said, you could have added here, you could have added here, you could have added here on higher lows. But this was such choppy price action, to be quite honest. I was pretty neutral in this area, right? Like if I had a high conviction that we were going to continue up, and I was not expecting the sweep of liquidity of 107K, I might have added there. But yeah, definitely like valid for sure, even on another drop to the downside. Shout out to C7. Great question, bro. Let's see. Shout out to Panda the Prophet, said we're so screwed. Shout out to Panda the Prophet. Shout out to New Earth, says Frankie, I'm not scared, but Frankie, hold me. Still hold me. Shout out to Under Earth God. Come here, bro. I'll give you a bro hug. I'll keep you calm in these volatile markets. I mean, even though I guess it's volatile, but just yeah. Let's get in here, man. Let's just send this thing up. Put us into a new all-time high. Start alt season, which, by the way, guys, I'm not going to cover this very, very much today. And I know I always say that and then, like, go into a long explanation. Oh, no, we're frozen. Hello? Testing. 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 Oh, God. Oh, God, what is going on? Are we live? Oh, no. Oh, no. Somebody let me know. Are we live? Hello? I'm frozen. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me. Somebody let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me. I am frozen on OBS. I'm going to go ahead and close out ExoCharts, and hopefully that frees up some froze, dude, yeah. All right, we're good. We're back. I closed ExoCharts. ExoCharts likes to break the computer, guys. All right, we're back. Testing. Attention, please. Anyway. All right, shout out to Tony D. Okay, cool, we're live. All right, we're good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, so... Yo, shout out to Al Jr. said Frankie's rugging us to cut it short. It's the only way. I can only go short if we have technical difficulties. The computer literally needs to drag me off the screen. But yeah, the Omar says, bro just says value area low, value area high POC. Shout out to Omar. Dang right, baby, dang right. And they make us a ton of money. So there is a reason for that. I was just going to answer something. And I lost it. The frozenness totally messed that up for me. Yo, shout out to Paul. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Bitcoin here. I'm going to keep holding that short. Are we going to stop me out? Let me just go ahead and put an alert here. We'll have that. Oh, my God, I got stopped out. Alert. It's a joke, guys. I'm not actually going to get wrecked. I'm going to lose like $100. It's okay. And again, I've explained this in the Discord, right? Or not in the Discord, in the market update, right? Like, why do I not really care if I get stopped out of this position, right? I'll lose like $100 and something on this trade, and the long is up over $3,000, right? 33, 38. I guess technically I have a little bit of negative fees, but still up over $3,000 on this position. And not only is that covering me, but also as we push up, I will continue to make money on that long position. So it's kind of like a risk-free trade for me. It's more of like a hedge. So just for anyone wondering why I'm like not worried at all about getting stopped out. Even in general, right? Like getting stopped out is never, oh my God, I'm getting stopped out. If you feel like that when you lose your trades, you're either trading with too much money, right? Or you're just not managing the risk correctly, right? Let's see. Looks like we're targeting the liquidity at 115K right now, baby. Send it. Very rare. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Shout out to New Earth Guardian. Hugo says, hello from Sweden, 12 a.m. here. Usually see you live early in the morning. Hey, shout out to Hugo's. Welcome in. Tuning in from across the world. Let's go. But yeah. That's my thoughts on Bitcoin here. We'll see if I get stopped out of this position. Might happen live on stream. But let's go ahead and jump on into Ethereum really quickly here. Take off that bull market support band. And yeah, just still within this volume profile, guys, getting a nice bounce off the POC. We got the rotation from the high. Shout out to the guy who just said I have, say, value area high, POC, value area low. This is for a very clear reason because we actually covered this as price action was developing up here. Once you get accepted into the value area high, the next likely target, especially if you can't break out, is going to be the POC. This POC acts as a magnet. And then once you break the POC, very likely you're going to go down to that value area low, which this was only a wick on Bybit, but you can see it wicked right down to that value area low. Now we have technically bounced off the value area low, reclaimed the POC, which could give us an eventual target if Bitcoin wants to continue up of the value area high here at 4631. Let me extend this profile to the right just a little bit. So we can look at this as extended, right? Because we're still within the area of balance. That moves the value area low just a little bit. This one got tapped. Now we extended over. New value area low sitting at about 4190. POC in the same spot at about $4,300. And then the value area high here at about 45.88. So biggest key level above on Ethereum is going to be 45.82 technically, and then the POC at 4,300, and then the value area low here at 41.92. So yeah, if we hold above this POC, I would be looking up here on Ethereum towards about 58.82. From a market cipher perspective here, VWAP's still cooking above this zero line. Money flow attempting to come back up here, but generally, guys, is trending to the downside, right? So if we get that money flow crossover, we would pretty much just be looking for the same thing. Let's say we do put in a lower high, right? We continue down here. We start to break down. Money flow crosses into the red. That would indicate a much larger trend to the downside, targeting our bigger levels of support, sitting down closer to 39.30 down to the monthly MPOC at about 38.68. Once we lose that, assuming that Oh, we're wrecked. We got stopped out of the short position, guys. Or probably. We might still be alive here. Maybe. No, we're stopped out. There it is. There she goes. Long's up 3,400, 58 now. There we go. Loss covered. But if we do wind up, getting the bigger correction here, right, on that road to the downside, coming down to this POC in the value area low, if money flow is crossing into the red, well, at that point, you're looking for the bigger trend to the downside to continue, targeting between 3,600 and 3,530, where we have our psychological $3,600 level into our macro value area high at 3,530. These levels remain the same. Long-term bias remains the same. We got 12 and 16-hour red dots potentially looking to print here. Red dot on the 10-hour looking to print. Market Cipher, like the money flow here is like very chopped up. There's a lot of mixed signals on Market Cipher B. So yeah, I would be paying a little bit more attention to the key levels. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, right now locally 45.36 would be the next target. 45.36. Where's this value area high? Yeah, 45.80. Yeah, pretty close. This range, if you guys are wondering why these are two different ranges, this range is pulled all the way from the top of 2021, right? This is just this area of balance extended all the way over here. And you can just see how beautifully these volume profiles are respected even when they're pulled from years back. Cross that value area low, you look to fill that range in full. Lose the range, get back into it. POC is next. You get another bounce back up. Now we're stuck inside this profile. Unless we can get a big bounce out of here, I would potentially anticipate, right? That's why we look down towards these next key levels. So slightly different levels just because they're different ranges. This one's pulled more like this, right? That's why that value area high is a little bit higher up because it's just incorporating this price action. This range that we're looking at here is pulled from 2021. Both valid levels, both valid ranges, just two different perspectives to look at on price action. So we'll see what happens. I actually, for a bigger move up, I like the local profile a bit better just because we've tapped that value area low, which means you're above the POC, the value area high is next. Here, right, on this larger profile, it's a little bit more difficult, right, because it's like you never filled this range in full. So it's, in this context, it's like maybe we could continue down. But, yeah, I just wish Market Cipher B was a little bit more clear. But, yeah, I would say, locally, 45, maybe we'll hit it right now. 45.35 would be the next target to the upside for ETH. All right, let's see. Fart coin, 4-hour green dot, 15-minute money flow crossing into the green. Shout out to John Vucci. Maybe we'll take a look at coin. We're getting close to 115. Come on, baby. Come on. 114, 941. Do it, baby. Do it. Come on. You could do it. Oh, God, we got a 1-minute red dot here, guys. We might go to 0. No, come on, push it up. Push it up. Give us the value area low. No, green. We need green. There we go. No, yes. There it is, baby. There it is. Into the value area low. Come on, baby. Still massive resistance ahead, but there you go, guys. When I say I'm expecting to get stopped out of a short position. Oh, baby, that was an old alert. All right, let's go. Come on, she's pushing. There's that liquidity, and you guys can see when you have that liquidity above, that's where you get those big pushes to the upside, those fast, volatile pushes to the upside. Come on, baby, come on. 3,600 on the long now. Should we hold it back down to 0? Actually, recently, guys, we were in a long position. And I asked the Mafia what we wanted to do there, or what they wanted me to do, and they said, I said, should I hold it? Should I take partial profits? Should I just hold it until I get stopped out? Should I close it in full? And everybody said hold it, and we got stopped out. Should we do it again? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm going to take profit on this one. I'm not taking another loss like that. All right, nice. There is the high probability magnetic key levels. Beautiful. Looking nice. Can we get above the value area low? I am a little bit suspicious, all right, of not getting any reaction here, to be honest. I do think even if we break above this monthly, like crack above it a little bit, I find it very low probability that we won't get some kind of reaction here, right? Sure, can we smash through it? Sure. We also have massive support here on the way down. I believe it was here, and we just melted right through it. So it's not impossible to just push up through these levels, but I'd be very, 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 very shocked if we get nothing here, even if we're going to continue up, right? Like even if we're going to do something like that. I would just be very shocked if we don't get some kind of reaction here. Yeah, 2-hour green dot, 3-hour green dot, 4-hour green dot. All right, well, maybe she wants to keep pushing. We'll see what happens here. Also, potentially, this wick. Could watch that wick. So there we go. All right, let's jump in the chat real quick. Yeah, shout out to Big Huggies. Said 40% of us did say take profits because we listened to you, Frankie. Shout out to Big Huggies. Yes, I was shocked. Usually the chat is saying what I would typically say, which is lock in profits, move your stop loss. But for some reason the FOMO was kicked in on the Mafia that day. Let's see. And I was watching it, and I'm like, everyone said to hold it. I was like, I could still just close it here and make money. And I was like, I just can't do that, right? Like, what kind of person would I be if I said I would do what you guys said, and then I just lied about it and closed the trade behind the scenes? Well, it did actually get closed, but I got stopped out. Shout out to Indian Martini. Said, Frankie, market prediction, Taco Bell promise update. We did pump in late July. We did dump in August. Let's see if the rate cut and pump happens in September. Yeah, so we've been talking about how in September, Bitcoin does typically like to find a bottom, which is beautiful because if this is the bottom, we are long from the tippy bottom in the premium. But, the question is the bottom already in for September, or do we have to go down and make another low? It's going to be hard to call that. I mean, especially when we're coming up to key resistance, right? Like we have here, here, and here. I do still think there is some time to come back down, but, the further up we go, right, the harder it is. I don't want to say the harder it is. It's never impossible to do something like that, right? And just to point it out, we have done it in the past, right? It's like Golden Pocket, I think, was sitting like right here. 786 was right up here. What happened? Lower high, lower low. It takes some time, but we do see it happen. Yeah, we'll have to kind of view that as price action develops, but it would be very nice if the low is in for September, right? And it's nice that that low came directly in on the bull market support band. How clean would that be, right? Everyone gets super bearish. Bear market comes in. We're looking for the long. And granted, Bitcoin was looking weak down here and still kind of does look weak with the money flow. Hopefully the rate cuts, if we get some shocking news out of the rate cuts, maybe they cut more than people are anticipating. That could be a situation where like the market's really like that and it sends us up. That would be like picture perfect. It's almost like too good to be true, in my opinion. It's not impossible, but we'll have to see what happens on the 17th. So, shout out to Golden Child. Said, you can't listen to the chat in the heat of a bull run. You got all the noobs in diluting the poll results. Of course you take profits. Shout out to Golden Child. Absolutely. And, I just do it for, like, entertainment for the most part. But you are right. Like, I don't really like to, I like to teach, like, sound trading techniques, right? Like, I don't like to just jump on here and just, like, gamble with the chat. But, yeah, we were kind of going a little bit crazy there. So, unfortunately. But I could afford to take the loss, right? It's not like I got liquidated for my whole account. But 100%, yes, please take profits. Do as I say, not as the polls say. I don't trust the low too much. Liquidity below, the volatility incoming, traps in play. Yes, absolutely. We've been putting, is it a trap in the titles a lot lately. And it is because, like, you have to think, right? We come back here to... come back in here towards, last time we got the drop down to about 75K, right? Like everyone gets super, super excited about these bounces to the upside. And I would compare that to this kind of area right here. It's like, sure, you get the bounce. This is nice, right? You have massive bullish divergences here, at least on the 4-hour time frame. You have your higher lows, your lower lows, right? And sure, you could take the longs there, but if you don't understand that you have key levels of resistance incoming, right? And money flow is coming out, right? Especially on the daily time frame, it was coming out here, indicating lower highs and lower lows. So this is very nice to see. And what do people feel here, right? They feel very euphoric, right? At least on a micro scale. It's like, oh my God, we're ripping. Oh my God, what's happening? We're just mooning, right? But this does not change the context of the high time frame money flow. What were we looking for here? Lower highs, lower lows. We got it. Even here, I believe we had a daily bullish divergence, which is a very, very nice high time frame signal for a bounce. Lower lows, higher lows, bullish divergence. Sure, you could take that trade and anticipate it to come back up, but the anticipation overall is lower high, lower low. And it is a very, very similar situation, guys. We got the Fibonacci retracements right on our resistance here with daily money flow coming out, right? So sure, we took this long. This is very nice, but you don't want it to you don't want to let it get you too euphoric here, right? Because the lower highs and lower lows are still potentially in the cards. And people will say, oh my God, that's crazy. We're pumping. What are you talking about? Well, just, take it back and not even this time, right? Anytime you see this happen in this situation where you have bounces on money flow coming out, it's just always going to be lower highs, lower lows are the overall anticipation of the trend. So it's kind of why I'm not trusting it either, especially with all this massive resistance above. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Getting a little bit knockdown here from the weekly MPOC. Did we tap that weekly MPOC? Monthly MPOC, yeah, pretty big levels here, guys. Pretty big levels. We didn't hit the 786. We didn't hit the weekly, but we did tap the monthly MPOC, so we're definitely hitting resistance here. But on top of that, right, you have a fresh 2-hour green dot, fresh 3-hour green dot, fresh 4-hour green dot, so you do have to be careful of potentially playing around with this zone a little bit. All right, so we took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at Bitcoin. New Earth Guardian says everyone gets the price alert. We broke 115K. They long and get wrecked. Yeah, shout out to New Earth Guardian. It's a tale as old as time. You do not want to long, right? And I'm not saying you can't long after price moves up, but typically, you know, what is the sentiment down here? Oh my God, it's nothing but down. This is so bearish. We cannot bounce. Like, you know, people get super bearish. What are they looking for down here for the most part? Retail is going to be looking for shorts. But us, right, where are we shorting? And I'm not saying we're not retail, but I like to call us smart retail, right? We're not just like totally getting FOMO at the lows, right? Looking to short at support, right? If you're looking for the shorts were to be had up here where we were looking to get short, right? And if you didn't catch it up here, right, at least be looking on retracements, right? The shorts were to be had on these retracements to the upside, right? By the time you get down here, or even by the time you get down here, it's too late to short. You have to wait for a retracement. It's the same thing with the longs, right? In my opinion, right, longing here, could it play out? I mean, once in a while, you could long here and you just start mooning, right? Or you get lucky. But at the end of the day, right, like this is just too late to long, in my opinion, right? That's why you always see me long from lows, right? I'm never longing as price comes up. It's not that I never take breakout trades, but for the most part, it's like when everyone is scared and price is coming down, that's where you want to long, not short, right? It's too late to short here. The only thing you can look for down here is a long, even if your overall bias is that lower is coming, right? You could only look for a long position here, right? It's too late to short. I mean, even if you came up here and looked for a lower high short, that would have been a little bit more, that would have been at least a better entry, because at that point, even if it doesn't play out in full, you have an opportunity to get into some profit, move your stop loss to break even, and then if it plays out, great. If not, you stop out in profit. It's just when you see giant green candles, that is not the time to long. And I know it sounds like two things, right? You're either feeling like that sounds like the opposite. You think, well, green candle, you would long, right? No, it is the opposite. Or you're thinking like, if price goes up, why would you short? Well, like it's going up, why would you short that? Well, that's where you want to short. That's where you're going to get the best short positions. Like here, we literally shorted the all-time high. It's like not only is price coming up, but it's also like very euphoric, right? People are like, oh my God, new all-time highs. But what do? We take the short, right? Because that's just where you would take the short position, even if you thought it was going to continue up. It's not the place to long, because you're going to jump into a long and you're going to get wrecked on that retracement and think you're bearish. Then you're going to short here and price is going to bounce. So you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of ping pong. It's literally what it feels like. It's like every time you long, you get wrecked. Every time you short, you get wrecked, right? And the reason for that is probably because you're longing and shorting too late. It's like after the move has already happened. So hopefully that makes sense. Shout out to Dutchie, says, Wick whispering, insert Halloween scary tune. I think it's like a UFO sound. Shout out to New Earth Guardian, said the reason in that the market reverses on the trend to take the liquidity. Shout out to New Earth Guardian. Yeah, and like I also don't want to make it sound like it depends on, like, I'm not necessarily like, I don't know, even if I'm trading with momentum, like I'm never trading as you get the push up, right? So, and not that New Earth Guardian is saying this, just a random thought that I had. It's like, even here, if I was looking for a long, like I would need the retracement. I would rather long on the pullbacks or short on the pullbacks. But yeah, liquidity is like the best thing, right? One of the confirmations we looked for down here was a SFP. I actually entered the trade a little bit earlier, but we were looking for a swing failure pattern, right? We got that, right? Wick below, candle closure above. There's your short entry, or your long entry, I'm sorry. Actually, I think I still have this pulled up from the market update just to show this, right? Like, this is what we were looking at in the Discord, right? Looking for the bull divs on the 4-hour with the SFP to take that entry with the first TP here at 111K. And what happens? You get the 4-hour bullish divergence into the bottom of the golden pocket. You get the SFP. This gives you a very, very beautiful risk to reward here, because when you long an SFP, your stop loss is going to go below that wick low, giving you a very nice, tight stop loss and a very clear invalidation, right? If price breaks that wick, it's probably time to get out of the trade. You're expecting a continuation down. So you have a very, very tight risk to reward ratio. And when you're targeting, the first take profit was here at 111K. It's like, well, hey, even if you get to TP1, right? Look at that. It's almost a 9 risk to reward. So you're risking very little to potentially gain very much. You can lose multiple of these trades in a row, and all you need is one to play out to cover those losses plus profit. And luckily, this one is just continuing to play out, right? So there you go. All right, let's see. Got to sweep the late entries. Yeah, shout out to New Earth Guardian. Or the early entries, I would say. Put in a schlong and you can't lose. Shout out to Flat Smack. You could long and short at the same time, but yeah, I wish that was as effective as people would think. I mean, if you manage the risk correctly, I guess you could do that. That would be the best strategy in the world, right? Like, hit the key level. I'm just going to long here and short here. Let one stop out and one continue to play. But the reason why that doesn't really play out as good as you would think, and I think Flat Smack's probably just joking, but let's just say we take a short here. Whoops. Let's just say you short here with your stop above the high, right? And then you take a long with your stop above the low. What oftentimes happens, right, or maybe below this low, like a lot of people don't take into mind, right? You can get stopped out of the short, right? And then you can get stopped out of the long, and then you're just stuck. Right? Sometimes it'll play out, though. But yeah, that is oftentimes I am long and short at the same time. I was just long and short at the same time, but they're not taken at the same place, right? I was long from here, short from here. So, but yeah, let's see. Yo, shout out to Base Bailey. Says, I want all the hopium, no substitutions. Shout out to Base Bailey. It's going to 500K. Shout out to Base Bailey. 500K guaranteed, not financial advice. I'm kidding. I know there's one person new in here that's like, wait, really, 500K? I do not think 500K is the next target. Please keep that in mind. Shout out to Darren Dusting. Said, I'm waiting for the Q3 VWAP just below 115.3. Sneaky short attempt there. Shout out to Darren. Let's go, baby. May the crypto gods and the trading gods be forever in your favor. Shout out to Darren Does Things. Need to go up and get some absorption, which means it's still going higher in my opinion. Yeah, shout out to Darren Does Things. That would be nice. That'd be nice. Maybe I'll finally take some profit on the long. I'm just going to hold it. I'll just hold it to the bottom, guys. I'm just going to hold it here and then just watch it go all the way back down and lose everything. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. Golden Child said, why get stopped out in one direction when you can get stopped out in both directions? Go big or go home. That's right. Shout out to Golden. And hey, let's not get stopped out. Let's just get liquidated. JB says 500K today or tomorrow. I'm thinking probably today. I'm thinking probably by 7:40 tonight. We'll be at 500K. Shout out to New Earth Guardian. Says Darren knows about absorption. Let's go. He absolutely does. Looks like we have more gas in the tank for another push right now. Come on, baby. Push it up. Let's set another alert here real quick. Let's push it up here. Let's set the alert here on the monthly. There we go. 500K next stop. 116.3 CME gap. Yeah, you know, that is the other thing, too. Let me actually take a look at that real quick. Yeah. There is this CME gap. I have this pulled on the RTH chart, but yeah, this is the only thing about shorts at this level, to be honest, now that I look at it. Sure, we have the resistance, right? Don't get it twisted. The resistance is there, right? And it is confluent. However, you would think, right, the chances of filling that CME gap are probably pretty high. Definitely higher than they are that it doesn't fill. So it does kind of make for a difficult short position because at that point you could just push through the gap. But again, with good risk reward, right, it honestly does not really matter too much, right? I took this trade down here knowing that it was a little bit lower probability, but why did I not mind it, right? I lost like $100, maybe a little more. And the long is already up more than that again, right? So it's just like there's very little risk there. So like even here, right, if you were to take some positions and you were to just go fill that CME gap, as long as you're not taking irresponsible trades, let's say you take a short here, as long as you just have no stop loss and you're going to get wrecked on your entire account, if you have your stop loss set at invalidation and you're using the correct position size where you're not blowing up your account if you get stopped out, right, you could take a short here and get stopped out. You're never going to win every single trade, right? Getting stopped out is a part of the business, right? It's like a cost of doing business, right? You're never going to, like, you guys just saw it, and I like to show through example. I just got stopped out, right? Does that stop me from making money? Absolutely not. It's just part of what happens when you're trading. So, you know, as long as you're not getting wrecked on that, right, you could take the short here, Hopefully it plays out, right? If it doesn't and it stops you out, as long as you take a small loss, especially if you're holding the long from the low like we are, it's fine, right? You're covered for more upside and you're taking a very small loss, and you can just wait till you hit that next key level. So I wouldn't say filling that CME gap is going to stop me from taking the short, but it does make me think like, if it's not going to play out, it would make a lot of sense for that CME gap to fill up to 116.3 or 116.9. And at that point, you're back inside the profile. So yeah, just to kind of show that, right? Like, I think a lot of people are looking for, like, how do I know when I'm guaranteed to win the trade? It doesn't exist, right? You're always going to be, you have the best setup with the most confirmations, all the confluence, everything headed in the right direction, and you can get stopped out. Doesn't matter, right? You're never going to have, if you're chasing something that's going to tell you, like, if this happens, if I get this signal, if we hit this level, it's a guaranteed long position, right? Like, you can have a high probability long position, but you're never going to be able to trade with that level of certainty, right? The certainty comes from being able to take the trade and understand that even if you lose, you're still making money, right? Or at least not blowing up your account, and you'll be able to stay in the game. Trading is a game of longevity, right? You have to stay in the game. The object of the game is sure you want to make money, right? But number two, the object of the game is to stay in the game. If you're blowing up your account on one or two trades, you need to figure out a risk management plan. You don't know how to manage your risk. That's very dangerous, right? You're not going to be able to stay in the game and make consistent profits over time because you're going to have to keep flooding money into your account and blowing it up time after time. So you're never going to have that, right? Like, I took this, I was like, man, I don't know. Like, sometimes it will play out. Sometimes it doesn't. But again, by managing the risk, it makes it very low stress. Am I tripping because I got stopped out of position? Absolutely not. I'm actually excited because the long is playing out. Shout out to Emilio, says, are we shorting our shorts yet, boys? Yeah, shout out to Emilio. Almost. Beep beep. Shout out to Disaster. Come on, baby. Give us the beep beep beep. Come on. 1 minute bear div. We're going to 0. That's it, guys. 1 minute bearish divergence. I kind of want to make a show, guys, where we just like degenerately trade the charts. I'm not going to lie. It goes against everything that I teach. It would go against everything that I teach. Not that we would trade and just gamble, but it's like, just like go super high leverage on 1 minute bear divs. Be mad fun. Be very exciting. Great for entertainment, but I do like to be educational here. But yeah, 1 minute bear div, guys, going to 0. Sad to see. Sad to see. Could you tell us what the stop loss is on the short, Frankie? Yeah, my stop loss for the short was, let me pull up a lower time frame here real quick. Stop loss was just above this high. My entry, and just to give you guys an idea of why I took that trade, right? Other than the 1 hour bearish divergence that I showed you, it was based off of, I was short from this 786, right? So the position looked like this. Do I still have it on the chart? Nope, I deleted it. All right, so I was short from the 786. I believe that is where it was, right? So took the short up here. Actually wound up playing out for like, almost 0.5%, 0.4%, which is it's up like 250, something like that. Looking for it to play out a little more than that. But my stop loss was just above this high. There you go. Why was my stop loss set here? Was it because I wanted a 0.19% stop loss? No. It was because once we broke this high, right, and got above that 786, if you're looking, right, because the idea here is that if you're going to put the high, the low, the lower high, and then a lower low locally, that lower high would come in on the golden pocket 786. Once you get above that 786, and you can see it illustrated here perfectly, once you break above that 786, it invalidates the idea that this was a lower high, right, which would indicate that you're going to crack structure to the upside. Boop, right through it. Right, so that's why my stop loss was up there, is because that was the invalidation for the trade, right? And could you have set it just above the 786? Yes, but I did want to give it a little room to run, because sometimes what price will do is you can come up here, right, play around with the 786, and then you lose it, right? So I just put it above this previous high. And then I adjust my position size to manage my risk, right? It was a smaller position. So there you go. That was exactly where my stop loss was and why, right? Not just why I set it there. Not just where it was set, but why, right? And what happens? You get above the 786, well, probably want to get out of that trade eventually, right? So you break that high. It's like, well, hey, we're going to continue up. Plus, you also have, like, the big key level here, right, which oftentimes acts as a magnet. These MPOCs also act as a magnet for price, right? So when you have a huge target like that on the chart, sometimes price will suck you up there. So, but again, this is the beauty of trading, right? When you learn how to manage the risk, it's like, took a loss today, right? But it doesn't matter. We're still up mad money. So yeah, it's very important, right? Because I think, a lot of people, it's like a lot of people get into trades, and like if you feel frantic in your trade, oh my God, we're going, oh my God, you're going to feel those emotions generally when you're trading, getting above the weekly MPOC there, very nice. You're going to feel those emotions just generally, right? But the more you manage your risk and the more you see like, oh, I lost like $100 here, but now I'm up an extra, 2, 3, 400, whatever it is on the long, you realize that it's like, you didn't lose anything here, right? Now, yeah, you don't really lose anything, right? Sure, you lose the trade, you lose a little money, but you're hedged, right? It is risk management. A lot of people ask me, like, what is the secret to trading? There is no secret. There is no shortcut. Not a lot of people will tell you this. They'll say, join my Discord. I'll get you rich overnight. They're selling you a fake dream. There is no secret to trading, guys. There is no shortcut. You have to put in the work. You have to donate money to the market to learn from mistakes, right? There is no shortcut. The only secret to trading, I would say, is managing the risk, right? If I took a short here, and my stop, and I did not have a stop loss, and it would say super high leverage because I wanted to take a really big position size, but I say didn't have enough money to open the position, right? And I just get liquidated on this trade. Well, now you're wrecking yourself, right? Because you're not just getting stopped out for a small loss. You're losing a ton of money on that trade if it doesn't go your way. You could take shots even on low-risk trades. I knew this was a low-probability trade. I talked to the premium Discord about this. Like, hey, it's like a local level. It's not like the best. It's not like the highest probability trade, but it's very low risk, so it means nothing to me, right? Because of everything I just explained. So, if you're taking this with no stop loss, right, that has nothing to do with the setup being bad. This has to do with your risk management, right? It's your fault. You have to have a lot of self-accountability when it comes to trading because no one's going to come save you. No one's going to come and tell you to make sure you set your stop loss, right? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you have like one of your friends that like keeps you in line. But no one's going to be able to do that, right? Someone could spoon feed you the TA. Someone could spoon feed you the trade setups, right? For example, what I just showed in the Discord here, right? This is the long position that I'm holding right now from like literally with the exact confirmations that I would look for, right? And we literally got those exact confirmations. But if you get there, right, you could get spoon-fed the trade setup. But if you're looking at that and you're too scared to take the trade and then you start to enter a long down here and then you get stopped out, well, that is based off longing at the wrong time. Right? No one's going to give you the discipline to enter the trade when you see the confirmations. No one's going to give you the discipline to set your stop loss, right? No one's going to give you the discipline to manage your position size so you're not risking your whole life to trade, right? You get spoon-fed the TA, spoon-fed the trade setups, but at the end of the day, no one cares if you lose money, right? Like, it's all on you. You are responsible for yourself. And I think it's what makes trading so hard, especially a lot of people just reach out to try to get someone to do it for them, right? Or this is why I don't do signals, right? They just look for someone to tell them when to buy or sell. Doesn't matter. I could say buy here, sell here, but if you buy on the way up and then you don't have a stop loss and you get wrecked, right? That's not the bad setup. It's not bad TA. It's just bad trade management, which is the difficult part of trading, right? TA is difficult to learn. It's very complex, right? But when it comes to the two sides of trading, right? You have the technicals, the strategy, and then you have the psychology. The psychology is 80% of it. Right, you can have the best TA and the best strategies. If you have bad psychology, the TA is worthless, right? It's much easier to say, I think we'll bounce here. Oh, I called the move, right? Than it is, I was looking for a trade here. I had the discipline to take the trade and manage my position, right? It's two totally different things. They go together hand in hand. I explain it like working out. You can have a personal trainer give you the best diet plan, the best workout plan, but no one can force you to put 100% in during that workout, right? If you're like, this is kind of hard, I'm going to lighten the weight, right? If you're not pushing yourself, if you're not eating correctly, if you're going home and sneaking snacks, right? Like, your personal trainer can't force your hand, right? You have to rely on yourself. So it's very similar, right? Like, you have to put the work in yourself. No one's going to babysit you. No one can, right? Because when you get into your trade, you have the best trade setup. Like, no one's sitting there with you on the charts. I mean, again, hopefully you do have some kind of like, I don't know, friend that's watching you and making you, follow your rules. But you can't teach that, right? That's just, and I think anybody can learn it, but I do think there are certain people out there that are very emotional. Just naturally, they might find trading a bit harder to do. But no one's coming to save you. There's no indicators, no strategy. There's no mentor. There's no one that can save you from that. All we can do, right, all I can do is teach you the strategies that I use and show you every day, like, hey, this is my update on this trade. This is what I'm doing and why, right? But, I can't click the buy or sell. I can't calm the emotions down for you. And I think at this point, my emotions are dead, right? Like, I don't care. But it also has a lot to do with that, like, I'm not risking a lot. Or I'm not risking a lot, more than would be X% of my account. So there we go. Hang on, let me just check Super Chats here real quick, guys, and we will jump into the altcoins as well. Shout out to John Lucci. Thank you for the Super Chat, bro. Says, pay attention. Frankie's lessons can change your life. Bing bong, my paisan. Shout out to John Vucci. Let's go, baby. Let's go, my paisan. I appreciate you so much for being here, and thank you for the Super Chat. And Dave Digital Some of my biggest wins happen on my second or third attempt at the same trade. You're only a loser if you stop playing. Shout out to Dave Digital. I would agree with you, and you can only stop playing if you don't manage the risk, right? And just to give it a little illustration before we move into the altcoins, guys, I always do this for the premium Discord. When it comes to trading, right, and there are risk management strategies, there's all different types of risk management strategies, but when you trade, say you take 5 trades, the importance is that you manage the risk, right? Let's say you take a trade here, stopped out, small loss. Take a trade here, you hit TP1, small win. Now you're up. Your P&L looks like this, right? Then you get stopped out, small loss. You're back to break even, right? Then you take another one, stopped out. Now you're down. Then you take another one, and this one plays out to full TP. Now you're up, right? That is how trading goes. But if you're just liquidated, it's blow up account, blow up account, blow up account, blow up account, blow up account. You can lose 3 out of 5 trades and still be profitable by managing the risk. This is the secret to trading, guys. I blew it out of the water. Somebody call the YouTube trading police. Frankie Candles blew it out of the water. This is the secret to trading, guys. There's no secret indicators, no secret strategy. Most strategies are profitable. I mean, even if you're, I don't recommend this, right? But like, even if you're just gambling on the 1-minute chart, just saying, oh, now we're pushing up, I'm going to try to jump in. Oh, now we're going down, I'm just going to jump in. If you manage to get out of the trades at the right time for a small loss, you could still, I'm not the best strategy, right? I would never recommend this, but you could still wind up ending up in profit. It's all about managing the risk. And I know it's the lame answer. I know it's not what people want to hear. People just give me the secret, right? Well, we give you the secret on the charts. But just so you know, it doesn't matter how you could have the same level of TA skill that I have. It does not mean you're going to be a good trader, because trading, the act of buying and selling and managing the position, is a separate skill from TA. They go together, right? Just like working out and discipline go together. But if you have the workout plan and no discipline, you're never going to get fit. And I'm not here to preach about being fit, guys. I've been about to go back to the gym for ever since I started this YouTube channel. And I think in the past 4 years, I've been back to the gym 2 times. I'll get back to it. Had to work on the business. But unlike me, Dave Digital has had a very awesome fitness journey, and he knows all about that. So shout out to Dave Digital. He said it's literally mathematically impossible to blow an account ever if you only risk 1% of your account on each trade. Yeah, shout out to Dave Digital, 100%. You have to lose, right? And if you stick to that 1% as the account goes down, you, like, in simple terms, right? It's like if you risk 1% of your account, it's like you have to lose 100 trades in a row to blow up the account. That's actually not true. You have to blow up like way more than 100 trades, right? Because you're risking 1% of a lower account number is a smaller loss, right? So it scales down as the account goes down. So you literally have to lose hundreds of trades in a row to blow up your account if you're risking 1%. But what most people will say is, if I want to take a trade here and I risk 1% of my account, in order to risk 1% of your account here, depending on how much you're trading with, you're probably going to have a significantly small position size. And then people say, well, if this plays out, I'm only going to make $50. I don't want to make $50. I want to make 10 grand. You have to work your way up there, right? Because if you just try to go for 10 grand before you have any kind of trading skills, before you have any kind of trading experience, and you're risking more than 1% of your account, like, sure, if you put your whole account on the trade with a massive stop loss or no stop loss, sure, if it plays out, you might make some money, but over time, you're going to get wrecked doing that. I promise you, I've done it 1,000 times. I don't say this because I read it in a book. I say this because I went through that journey. 100%. You have to lose hundreds of trades in a row if you risk 1%. I say risk 1 to 2% as you're starting off, right? What this does is it keeps you in the game, right? You could take, again, over 100 trades in a row before you blow up your account. You're going to need those 100 trades plus, right? You're going to need that to learn, because you're going to get stopped out, especially when you're learning. Even when you're not, I just got stopped out, right? So, it's never going to stop. But, and then once you build up that confidence that you're making money over time, then you can scale up the capital. You could try to get a funded account. You could take your own money and put it into your account, right? You could take a loan. I'm just kidding. Don't take a loan, guys. That was a joke. But you could always chase more capital later. Learn the skill of trading. This will stay with you for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you want to make a ton of money, right, trading on these charts, sitting here pressing a button, buy or sell, right, whether you're sitting in your car, sitting on your laptop, sitting at your desk at home, right, if you want that skill, that will last you your whole life. There's no salary cap. It's an infinitely scalable skill. There's no boss. There's no customers, right? There are business costs, getting stopped out, maybe your TradingView account, right? But if you want something that is that valuable, it is not going to happen overnight. And this is why most people fail. Most people don't want to put in the work that it takes. It's very hard. You have to have grit. You have to have that dog in you if you want to be a trader. I promise you that. And you're going to learn it very quickly. But most people don't have it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't know. Most people are just going to gamble a couple times, think it's a scam, and get out. But I am here to tell you it is definitely possible. So there you go. Come on, Mafia. You could do it. If you can't trade, hodl. Shout out to XRP Belgium, 100%. Do you know how many people in my personal life, shout out to XRP Belgium, that I tell them, like, someone comes to me, they're like, hey, man, listen, like, I see you making money. I want to learn how to trade. And then I look at their life, right? And they're already in, like, an established career. They have kids. They have a family. They have a wife. They have a house. They have all this stuff, right? I'm like, listen, man, it's not for you. It's probably not for you. And I would never, like, tell someone not to learn, right? Especially with how passionate I am about teaching how this stuff can change your life. But not everyone you don't have to be a day trader. I promote it. I like it. I think it's fun. I think, it is great for the people who it'll catch on for. All the TA is transferable to long-term bags as well. But, like, it's probably not the game for that guy, right? Like, I sacrificed a lot of my time and a lot of my, late to mid-20s, right? Just, like, experimenting with online businesses. And I always wanted to make money online. Trading was obviously a big part of that. But I didn't have anything to lose, right? I was young, I was lean. I had no, actually I was not physically, but I was physically lean. I was back when I used to work out a lot, but it's, it's not for everybody, right? Like if you have a full-time job in an established career that you genuinely enjoy, it's not something you're going to be able to do like on your phone on the side. And I'm not telling you can't try that. I learned when I was at a full-time job, I was sneaking my laptop, trying to hide from the boss or whatever. But it's just you have to identify what kind of trader are you, right? Are you a scalper, right? You need a lot of time. It's a full-time job to be a scalper. It's a full-time job to be a day trader. You have to watch the chart constantly. Things change every minute. Do you want to be a swing trader? Now, swing trading is a little different. You can get into a position on a higher time frame, hold that position for a couple of days. You could check in on the trade maybe once or twice a day just to see how it's doing, but you have your stop loss and your take profit set. It's a longer-term outlook. That's a little more reasonable, I think, for most people. That's not that you could leverage trade swing trades. I mean, I've been in this trade for 10 days. Right? So you could consider this a swing trade, right? So it's like, who wouldn't want to make an extra $3,400? And it wouldn't necessarily be this much or this little, whatever it is. But, I would never recommend someone, like, everyone wants to be like a 1-minute scalper, right? And at the end of the day, it's a full-time job, not only to learn it, right? But also to, actually make money doing it, right? You have to spend the time learning where you're going to lose constantly, and then you have to finally become profitable. And even when you are profitable, it's a full-time job. Now, you can't really do that while you're working an actual 9 to 5. But you could totally be a swing trader, and above that, you could be a position trader, which is basically just a hodler, which the TA is 100% good for, right? You would see this as a key level to potentially hold a long-term bag. If it goes into all-time highs, well, guess what? You bought Bitcoin on the dip, like a lot of people, hopefully a lot of people did here, or hopefully a lot of people did here, right? You could hold that position for a very long time. So, you don't have to be a scalper. You don't have to be a day trader. You can be a swing trader. You can be a position trader, right? So it's whatever fits you. You have to figure out. I have a video. Maybe I'll redo a video on this because I have a video from a long time ago. It's like the different types of traders, right? Like you have to identify what kind of trading does your life facilitate. Do you have a family, a full-time job? You're probably not going to have a great time scalping the 1 minute, right? Maybe on the weekend or something, you want to scout the 1 minute or something, you have a day off or something, you want to scout the 1 minute, or you want to try it. I never want to deter people from trying it, but you just kind of have to think logically, right? Like, am I going to be pulling out my phone every 5 minutes at my job, right? That's probably not going to, it's super stressful, and that's why I say, like, maybe practice on demo, right? So you're not, risking all your money. But hopefully that helps you guys out, right? I think it's really important that people talk about this. I keep blowing up my small accounts. I feel like I should just go all in. Shout out to Panda Profit. That's that disease creeping in. Come on, man, just go all in. You got to get it back. Come on, revenge trade, Panda. Come on. It's so sweet, right? It talks to you so sweet. Come on. Just go ahead. Just jack up that leverage. Go ahead. Put the whole account on there. I won't reverse on you out of nowhere. Don't worry. Trust me. It's an evil voice in the back of your head. But shout out to Panda Profit. Hopefully this helps you guys out. Shout out to Perry. Said, what kind of trader are you? Shout out to Perry. I am pretty much every kind of trader, right? I do a little bit of everything, right? Sometimes I'm on the 1 minute scalping, but I also do have a very busy schedule with the YouTube channel. I have a lot of things going on, right? So I'm not on the 1 minute every single day, but when I have time to scout that 1 minute, I'll be doing that, right? But for the most part, it's like day trades. And a lot of times the day trades with the way I trade, a day trade, depending on how quickly it plays out, let's say I entered here and it pushed up to 111,000 in the first day, right? Well, it's like, cool. I could either close that whole position, but more often than not, what I do is I take that day trade, I lock in profits, move my stop loss to break even, and then that day trade turns into a much bigger swing trade. So, yeah, I kind of do everything. It really depends on what's presenting. And obviously, I am a big long-term holder as well. Most of my money is in long-term bags, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then the altcoins. Shout out to Wick589. Thank you for the super chat. Said, I listen to Frankie for spot. It doesn't make for pretty winner wall posts. Yeah, shout out to Wick. But Frankie, 6 figures in 3 to 4 years, 3 to 4-ish years. Thank you. Shout out to Wick589. Are you saying you got to 6 figures in 3 to 4 years, or you are planning on getting to 6 figures in 3 to 4 years? If you're saying you want to get there in 3 to 4 years, Wick, I don't know how much you're starting with. I don't know how big your bags are, but I would believe that you could probably get there a little bit quicker. So shout out to Wick589. Thank you for the super chat. OG of the CandleMafia. But yeah, I mean, the TA works for everything, right? It's just, the same strategies that I talk about here on the higher time frames are all going to play out on the lower time frames as well. I explained this a little bit earlier in the stream, right? Sure, we're taking a long down here on the golden pocket. It's a deviation below the profile and a potential acceptance back in for a fill of the range. This is the same thing as looking at a 5-minute volume profile, right? Let me see if I can find one. Try to find some kind of like a little... some kind of like a sideways range, right? Right. It's the same thing as pulling this little range right here. Let's go down to the 1 minute, right? It's all fractal, right? It's the same thing. I don't think it's going to let me go back that far. Right? Well, what is this? It's the same exact thing on a lower time frame. Now, although we didn't deviate as low as we are currently, right? But like deviate below the low, right? Are you getting any bullish divergences, any SFPs? Are you looking at something to potentially enter that trade? Right? It's the same thing, whether you're on the 5-minute, the daily, the weekly, macro profile, local profile. This is undervalued. You're looking to get back into the range. Go to the POC, which is really close to the low, and then up to the value area high. Where are you looking for shorts? As you're at the high, go back down to the POC and the value area low, and then maybe it plays out more. It's the same strategies. It works on the 5-minute, the 3-minute, the monthly, the weekly. This is the 1 minute or the 5-minute, right? And then we have that same exact idea on the higher time frames. Here's your sideways range. Break down below, back in, back to the POC, back to the high, right? It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Even here, this is a little closer to the example on the 5-minute, right? You come down to the value area low, bounce, POC, try to get to the high. The profile is a little different back here, but hopefully that makes sense. If you're new here, welcome to the Frank Gals YouTube channel. I teach you how to make money trading Bitcoin, whether the price goes up or down. And you could short, right? Like, you don't need to be a scalper to short, right? You could take a swing short. This trade we took up here from the all-time high, wound up taking, to the bottom, wound up taking 17 days, right? So that's something someone with a full-time job could do. Right? Look at it as more of a swing trade, and you can check in on it once a day, twice a day, right? If you get down to a POC or a value area low, you can take some profit off the table, move your stop loss to break even, and at that point, you can forget about the trade. You're either going to make more money or you're going to get stopped out in profit. You're going to win it either way. So anyway, we took a look at Ethereum. Let's jump into some altcoins here, guys. Let's take a quick look at Solana here. Thoughts on Solana? As you guys know, we had come in and broken. Look at this, guys. Look at this. We came in and broke that high as we were looking at last week. Yesterday, we were looking at our golden pocket 786 Fibonacci retracement as the key level to hold for an aggressive. 2 key levels we looked at on Solana for a potential bounce. Number 1. Was this yesterday? Okay, I'm tripping. It's because I didn't pull it all the way over here. I just eyed it up. I just go like this sometimes. Where'd it go? Pull from the high, from the low to the high. So this is what I did yesterday. Just to explain why I couldn't find that, right? From the low to the high. But the dot isn't on the high. So I was like, where's that pulled from? So we had from the low to the high yesterday. And we actually didn't even come down there. We did not have to come down there. So that is, whoops. Yeah, okay. So this doesn't even matter. We could take this off the chart now. But came up to the POC, right? Recently, we were looking for a break of structure to the upside here on Solana, or Solonzo, as James Cramer would call it. We got the break of structure, a little correction, back up, right? Once you're above that POC, what does it open the door to, Mafia? What does it open the door to? Up towards the monthly at 231.70. There's that monthly target. Still remains the next target to the upside. We are above the POC. Very nice to see. Continuing our journey up through the profile. Next target, 231.61. And then we have the daily at 238.10. And nice thing here, let me see if I can pull this up. You're now trying to get above this golden pocket. We can hold above that golden pocket. These are definitely the next targets I would be looking at. 231.61 and 238.10. See if, I don't think we have, yeah, no weekly up there. So, yeah, that would definitely be the next thing I'm looking at. Next big targets to the upside, 231.61, 238.10. Can we make it there? Well, hey, if we stay above this POC, I would say it's still valid. Pull this new fib. Yeah, so this fib honestly didn't really move that much, but this is still a valid fib. Golden pocket POC. As I said, if you stay above that point of control, the doorway to the monthly, daily, and the value area high are still open. All right, so if we do come down, let's just assume we come down from here. I'm not saying you're going to, but this could be an area to put in the higher low and continue the move up. As long as you don't break down below this 786, you could hold that POC and continue up to these next targets. And then once we get above that, are you going to see some turbulence? Very likely, in my opinion, right? But eventually you target that value area high, which sits at 248.66. So, yeah, that's what I look at on Solana. Not too shabby. Looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. Even if you cool off, you got support here, and then you also have the bigger golden pocket 786, which has moved slightly. And this is pulled from the entire move from the low to the high, sitting between 210.50 and about 205.46. I'm not as interested in these levels, and the reason for that is because if you come down there, right, I would much rather hold the POC for the bigger move up, right, which would facilitate the continuation through your macro profile. There's your low, there's your high, right, looking for that fulfill. But down here, it's a little bit sketchier, right, because if you lose this 786, it's like, sure, you can bounce here, continue your general uptrend, but you got to get back above that POC. So the reason I don't love that as much, it's nice because the trend line is there, but that POC is right on top of you. So it's not, I don't know. It's just a little bit more dangerous, right? Because if you get stuck under that POC, it's like, yikes. Might be able to head a little bit lower. So I would like this level here at 217.93 and 214.66 as the key level of support currently. Next targets, 231.61, 238.10. That is Solana, or Solonzo, as some of your friends might call it. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Gen Z says Bitcoin is a penny stock. The Dusty Hunt is Dusty Hunt's asking what Bitcoin is. Shout out to the Dusty Hunt. I think Bitcoin's like a PayPal competitor. Yeah, I think it's like similar to Stonks. You guys know about Stonks? Can Sui just dump now, please? Shout out to J Ed. Let me take a look at Sui real quick here for you guys, because there are some levels that I'm looking at on Sui, or SIP, as some people like to say. Shout out to Daddy Wellness. I don't think anybody in here knows him. Does anybody know Daddy Wellness? Does anybody know SIP? Let me know. Or am I just alone here? I don't know why I'm like this, guys. Anyway. So I'm going to pull up some horizontals here for you guys. Going to have to pull them. Monthly's up there. Weekly MPOC already tapped. All right, let me mark this out real quick. And actually, you know what? I'll do it over here. So I'm going to mark out some dailies here real quick. Above us. So you got that's tapped. You got a daily here. Got a daily here. So there you go. There's your dailies. Now I'll just mark off the weeklies real quick. And what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm trying to see where the confluence is. So go weekly, weekly, weekly. And let's just grab the monthlies. There is no monthlies. They're all tapped. Except for, yeah, this is support. So technically you have a monthly right here. But, and one right here. All right, and then let me just mark off some MPOCs real quick. Shout out to anybody that wants to know how I mark up charts. You're watching it live. All right, so let's see. Daily MPOCs. I'm only going to mark out the significant ones just to save time here on the live stream, guys. I know there's going to be ones I don't mark out. Be like, Frankie, why don't you mark that one out? It's just because really what I'm looking for here is resistance. So I'm just going to mark the upper. Dang, no weekly up there. Monthly. And got one all the way up there. Whoops. Monthly. Daily MPOC. Or monthly MPOC. All right. Okay. And you do have a monthly MPOC down here, so that would be very nice support. All right, so let's see here. Let's turn some of this stuff on. Come on down to a lower time frame. So I would say $3.87 to $4 is going to be the next big level to look at. And this weekly MPOC, oh no, that's already tapped. That's why. So I can take that off the chart. So yeah, I would say this zone right here is the next big areas of resistance. Pull some volume profiles here real quick. So you get the value area high in there, the POC in here. Yeah, I'll probably just look at this like this. I wish we had a daily up here somewhere. Yeah, no, that daily's tapped. That daily's tapped. No daily. All right, so I would look, right? You also have the value area low here, even if I pull this on a bigger scale. Yeah, I mean, this would be the zone to look for, in my opinion. Let's pull the fib. Get any confluence there? Look at that. So you got the golden pocket, the weekly, the daily, and that value area high sitting between about $4.05 and $3.87. That'll be the next big level to look at, in my opinion, right? Because if you're going to put in a lower high, potential lower low coming in. But what I would look for here is if you get the lower high in the golden pocket and all this confluence, could put in higher lows and higher highs, right? You have the daily down here. You have another daily, weekly, daily. These are areas. You know, this is assuming the high comes in here. This is like a speculative fib, because we don't have the high here, so I have nothing to pull it from. So assuming you come up to this high, I would pull that there. Daily golden pocket confluence, daily 786 confluence. So these are levels of support I would look at. And again, if the high comes in first, right? If the high comes in earlier or comes up here, it will slightly move that level. Because again, I am pulling this off a fib, off price action that is not there. That's assuming that the high comes in around this level. If you come up to the 786, it moves the golden pocket and the 786 up a little bit, but you can still see it's in that general zone. So I'm just going to mark this out as, you know, potential confluence. Either way, the daily is there, right? So you still have support there either way. But whether the confluence is there on the golden pocket or not is going to depend on where that fib comes in. And the reason why I would look at this, that 3-day money flow, right? If you get some kind of like big cool off, remember, daily money flow is coming out. Look at that daily money flow, indicating lackluster pump for a retracement and a lower low, or a lower high, right? Which could give you a rejection. But with the 3-day money flow coming up on the higher time frames, you could still be aware of higher lows. It doesn't mean just because you put in a rejection here that it is the lower low. Right? To guarantee the lower low is coming in or to make it very high probability, you would have to lose that 786. Then the lower low is very likely. But until then, this money flow stays in the green, right? You can get a correction and then put a higher low in on the golden pocket daily and then get a bigger push to the upside. But either way, massive resistance here at 387 to 405. And then if you do come down, you have the daily sitting here at 346, another daily sitting down here at 333. And if you come up first and put in the high here, that golden pocket will be very confluent. Fibonacci retracement zone will be very confluent with those levels, right? And then we can start to pull up the other TA that we were looking at. Where's it at? So yeah, this is what I would look at. That's the next big level of resistance. And then, Yeah. The one thing I would be a little bit concerned about here is potentially getting back down to the low, right? Because you're deviate to the value area high, back to the POC. You could fill that range in full, but it would have to be assess the situation as you go. If you put the lower high in, lose this 786, well, the value area low is going to be likely in my opinion. But if not, be careful of higher lows and higher highs there. Because, just because you're in the range doesn't mean you're guaranteed going to get the fill. That's why I wanted to take this range off the chart and just look at this from a market structure perspective, right? Without the volume profiles muddying up the picture there. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on SUI. Big key level of resistance. Definitely a potential short opportunity up there as well. Right? In which case, potentially target new lows, but definitely be careful around that 346 golden pocket in case you get the higher low. Either way, right? Even if that plays out, still a 1.7 risk to reward. Not the best, not the worst, but also depends on your entry, right? If your entry's up here, stop loss above the high, right, or stop loss above the daily, right? Now your risk to reward is a 4.5, even better. But just in general, right? Like could just be an area where you get a rejection from. So there you go. Little freebie on the Frank Candles live stream. There you go. Smash that like button. Shout out to Perry. Said, Frankie, alt season index is indicating altcoin, but dominance still not get the target. What do you say? Shout out to Perry. My outlook on alt season, guys, remains exactly the same as it has been for quite some time. And that is essentially that Bitcoin dominance looks weak, right? Just generally. 2-day money flow, 3-day money flow coming out here. Even if we get bounces up and the altcoins have to get the bigger retracements, which is definitely possible, still looks weak over time. Even if you have to get a retracement all the way back up to retest that low, I would still say, right, like when you look at this from a price chart perspective, money flow indicates the longer-term trend. When this crosses over, you anticipate, even when it comes out, right, that daily money flow was the first thought process or was the first signal, right? Well, hey, guys, if we get the loss of this POC and that daily money flow crosses into the red, be careful of support on the value area low. Once you get above that level and push up, right, sure, you could look for the green dot to give you a bounce to the upside, but money flow coming out indicates lower high, lower low, which would eventually break us down out of that range. And where are we sitting right now? Broken down out of that range. So if we do get another bounce to the upside, right, even if we have to come up and retest some of these levels, I would still be anticipating lower highs and lower lows. Why? Because your money flow is headed in the right direction, down, right? This looks weak. This looks weak, right? So that's what makes me anticipate the continuation down. Could change, right? If we get up there and it starts yeeting back into the green, well, then maybe we go up to 100% Bitcoin dominance. I don't know. Probably not. But just in general, just to kind of show that, right? This has been leaking out for quite some time. The daily money flow crossover back in 2021 happened here. Still got some turbulence. 2-day money flow crossover happens. Still get some turbulence. 3-day money flow crossover happens. You finally get the drop down, right? So we could definitely see some turbulence here, but I would still expect lower highs and lower lows. Dominance still looking very weak in my opinion, which would be good for alt season for anybody who doesn't know. Bitcoin coming in 115, 326. Take a quick check in on this. Come on, baby. Creep up towards that monthly. Creep up towards that monthly, baby. Do it for us. Do it for us, baby. Come on. Come on. Up 37 on the long. 3,700. Yeah, shout out to Jennifer. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance eventually going down. Yes, thank you, Dave. Thank you for the alt list. Zora, Ada, Fart, AVAX, KNC. Let me actually write some of these down. Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for that, bro. I will take some from there. I will take Ada. I will take Fart. Or, as some people like to say, I will take AVAX. Let's go. And XRP. Yeah, I'll take a look at XRP right now. Shout out to Dave Digital. Said I got a sideways boy on BTC. Shout out to Dave. You're talking about a trade that is just going sideways. That's brutal. You get in, right? You guys ever feel like that? You get into a trade and then it just goes sideways. That's how I felt this morning. Just get into the trade, just go sideways. Yeah, shout out to Faith. This is a great question. How does Bitcoin have money? How does BTC dominance have money flow? I don't think, right? Like, if I had to guess, I don't know what calculates money flow, right? I don't know the calculations behind this. I doubt that it's like I doubt it's like counting the dollars going into the asset. But the question is, how does Bitcoin dominance have money flow if it's a percentage? I get the thought process there, and I wish I could answer the question like in a technical manner. Like, well, it's because of this. I can't give you a full answer of why it works, why it follows the money flow. The only thing I can tell you is that it works. It's the same thing with the DXY. That seems like a genuine question, but a lot of people, when I pull up the DXY and I look at Market Cipher or pull a volume profile or something, people are like, or a Fibonacci retracement, people are like, you can't do that. You can't use these tools on the DXY. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. Why would that work? But it does work, right? So I don't know. If it works, then I will continue to use it. If it does not work, then I will not use it. But as you can see on money flow on Bitcoin dominance, just to show you this, I don't just look at it because it's an indicator that I want to use and I just think it applies to everything. It does mean something, right? So again, if I pull up dominance over here, you can see, right? Daily money flow crossover into the red all the way back here in 2021 was the first major sign of weakness that you could break down out of this range, right? Money flow crosses over, actually happened one candle over, right? Happened over here. You do get the drop down, you go sideways, but again, money flow doesn't indicate an instant move. It indicates the overall trend, right? Lower highs, lower lows. So the daily money flow showed the first sign of weakness there, right? Then the 2-day money flow crossed over shortly after that on the second line, right? And what happens? Eventually, you do continue down. So this just shows you what the overall trend is likely to do. You can even see here, right? Money flow crosses over into the red, right? Massive green wave. Money flow starts to fake out into the red. You're pretty much in the red at this point, and the trend continues down. I kind of agree. It's like, how could you use this if there's no, it's just a percentage. But it indeed does work. Money flow crosses back over into the green right here. Well, what would you anticipate? You would anticipate low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Beautiful, right? Then same thing with the volume profiles. People say you can't use the volume profile on dominance. I mean, I must be the luckiest person in the world, right? Get back down below the low, POC, value area low. Money flow comes out, very high probability of a breakdown of that range, right? So it works. I wish I could explain to you why you're able to use it on something like dominance. I can't, but one thing I can show you with proof is that it does work, right? Same thing here, right? Why were we not screaming for altcoin season in February? Well, number one, money flow is in the green. Number two, we were flipping the value area low to support. This is a bullish sign for a push into the POC. What do we get? Push into the POC. So, and then down here, when we said if we lose this point of control, I would expect the breakdown. Why was that? Well, it was because our daily money flow started to cross over into the red, right? Break the POC. You're already expecting the value area low just based off your profile, but money flow coming out would assist lower high, lower low to continue that trend down. So it does work. I wish I can give you an exact example of or exact explanation of why it works and why you can actually use this stuff on something like dominance. I just simply can't. I'm not going to sit here and try to make it up, but one thing I can show you is proof that it does work, and that's why I pay attention to it. Once it stops working, you'll never hear me talk about it again, but until it does work, I'm going to keep using it. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. It's a great question, bro. I know a lot of people probably wonder that. Shout out to Dennis, says, why do you hide the RSI line on Market Cipher B? I think it has it in the settings to include it. You don't use it at all? Shout out to Dennis. No, I do not use the RSI on Market Cipher B at all. Not because I don't think it works, not because I think it's useless. I just prefer to keep my chart clean. And yeah, it's just, I talk about this a lot. You want to keep your charts simple. Trading is already complex. You have to keep your, if you have too much stuff on the charts, too much stuff on your indicators, it gets very confusing to look at. When I was a beginner, I thought the more like a science project that my chart looked like, the better of a trader I would be. It's the opposite. Too much information is bad information, in my opinion, right? If you have 40 moving averages all in different areas, right? And then you have mad horizontal lines, right? Then you have mad MPOCs, you have mad volume profiles. You're looking at every 4-hour level of support. It's impossible to trade that. And when it comes to Market Cipher B, honestly, it started with me cleaning up the chart for the Mafia because I think it just made it look a lot more confusing. And people are just like, what the heck are those lines? And I'm just like, I don't really use them anyway, so I'm just going to take them off. And at the end of the day, if I'm missing a signal on those RSIs, I'm probably getting that indication from something else that I look at anyway. You have to pick and choose what you want to look at and what works for you, and then just delete all the other noise. So it's not that they don't work. It's not like that you shouldn't use them. I just personally don't use them. That's all. I like to keep things nice and simple. That's the simple answer. So yeah, hopefully it helps you out. All right, let's take a look at XRP real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Ahmed, said next target for Solana, bro. We just looked at Solana. I talked about the next targets to the upside and the key levels of support, so just scrub back real quick. You get the full sauce on Solana. And while you're doing that, Ahmed, we will see you in a minute, but we're going to take a look at XRP, which has been, right, we took this, looked at this new range yesterday, and we have our value area high. We have our anchored VWAP and golden pocket down below, which is going to be key support on the way down if we do continue. But we're just kind of grinding up here. Obviously, Bitcoin continues to grind up. XRP follows. Right now, we are holding the value area high, which is very nice, right? You get the breakout of the range. You would look to hold this value area high as support. If we come back down, next level I'd be looking at is between about 267 and 263. There's a bunch of levels to the downside. I'm not going to cover every single one. Another really key level of support is going to be about 230 here. We have a 786, right? Our full 786 retracement comes right in on that daily MPOC at $2.30. This is a key level. 250 to 260 is going to be another really key level right here on this golden pocket. But right now, for the local levels, I would say with the confluence you have down here on the anchored VWAP, this local golden pocket and the value area high, is this similar to Bitcoin, right? You get the break out of the range. You're really hoping to stay on top of here, right? In the most bullish case, you hope to stay above this level and just continue up. But if you break back down, there's still a lot of support down here that I'd be willing to long. But for right now, I mean, just from a simple standpoint, you're holding on top of that range high. Very nice to see. Let's pull up our other chart here, which has some other important key levels, right? You have this local volume profile. Stay above the 786, guys. Sitting, I mean, pretty much where we're at right now. Hold above about 304, 303. Anchored VWAP 786. Once you get above here and hold it, next target is going to be, for XRP, 311 to 319. Simply put, you have the anchored VWAP, you have the point of control of the range, you have a golden pocket, you have a weekly horizontal. Big zone of resistance, right? And I'll just take this off the chart temporarily. You could reject this. You have to hold on top of this. If we can close the daily candle up here, that'd be very nice. I would not want to see a daily wick with a daily candle closure down below, right? That would indicate that you're losing this level, and you might get the bigger drop down. But if you could hold above there, close that daily candle, could be a nice sign that you're going to hold this anchored VWAP and continue up towards the POC. And at that point, you're above the value area low. The next major target's the POC anyway, right? So stay above 291. The doorway to 312 all the way up to 320 is open, or 319 is open. Stay above here. This target's open. Then once I would expect turbulence here, but if you could stay up on top of that, right, you could continue up towards the value area high. So there you go. Not much to update on XRP other than that. Daily VWAP coming down, so could be some turbulence, but those are the key levels that I'm looking at. And again, macro-wise, unless we get accepted back into this range, until we start losing this golden pocket anchored VWAP at about 260, I wouldn't really be looking for much of a bigger move down. Once you lose that, then we could start to talk about those lower levels. But right now, we're holding major support. Right now, we're at least getting a nice bounce here. That looks pretty good to me. So that's what I'll be looking at on XRP. I forgot who asked for that, but shout out to you. X24 says XRP 333. Let's see if I have a level up at 333. Well, look at that. 334 right at the, or 334, 335 at the value area high. That would make sense for me. So not too far off there. If we extend the profile all the way to the right, 330. So, yeah. And you could look at the previous profile or the current profile here. And the reason for that is because you're inside the area of balance. So whether you're looking at the previous profile or you're looking at the current profile, still valid. So that's what I look at on XRP. Next target, locally, 311 to 319. Weekly XRP, Perry, green dot looking to print. Not looking too bad, in my opinion. You still have some time for this to print. This can get rejected, but VWAP headed in the right direction there. We get that weekly green dot, that'd be a very nice sign for a continuation up. 5-day green dot about to print as well. And what does this look like, guys? Just from a simple perspective, that green dot prints. Could set up for a little lower high here on the momentum wave, which would give us a bearish divergence, but it would also call for a break of structure to the upside. So what everybody's hoping for. But if we don't get that from here, right, if we don't get the higher high from here on the 5-day green dot, 4-day green dots printing, I mean, this money flow is just, I'm not paying attention to money flow right now, to be honest. It's coming out, right, but then your weekly money flow looks fine. Your 3-day money flow looks fine. Your 2-day money flow, it's like 2 days bearish, 3 days bullish, 4 days bearish. 5-day is, I would say, neutral, bearish. 6-day, neutral, weekly neutral. Right? It's like hard to make a call based off money flow right now, and that's what that choppy price action will do to you. But if you don't get the higher high and we get the bigger pullback, you still have like the 250 to 260 level, the 230 level. These are still big levels that you can hold. So I'm not really too worried just yet. I wouldn't love to see a rejection here, but if we do, it could be headed lower. So yeah, there you go. Yo, shout out to Dennis, said Frankie, regarding about Cypher B. Sometimes the 2-day or the 3-day shows money flow going up, but the daily money flow is going down. How do you decide which macro and micro time frames to trust for your analysis? Shout out to Dennis. The higher up the time frame, the longer term sentiment that gives me, right? So it's like the same thing. If I see the 1 hour money flow crossing into the red, but the daily money flow is coming into the green, my high time frame bias has got to go with the daily. But let's just for example, let's say the daily money flow is crossing into the green here, which it's not. I mean, it's in the green. It's not crossing into the green, though. Let's say it's crossing into the green. That would indicate that you're probably going to get higher lows and higher highs. But if I have the 1 hour money flow coming into the red, that would indicate that based off the 1 hour, which is a lower time frame, means a lower time frame trend could continue down, right? Something like that. But on the daily, you could get this pullback with the 1 hour money flow and still have a higher low and a higher high based off the daily time frame. So you're always going to go with the higher time frame. In this particular scenario, like I just showed, 2-day money flow crossing into the red, 3-day money flow looks fine, 4-day money flow crossing into the red, 5-day money flow looks okay. Well, this is just, it just makes it harder to come up with a bias there, at least based off money flow, right? Market structure wise, this looks fine. But when it comes to money flow, like sometimes you're just going to get chopped signals. There are times where I put more weight on the money flow and sometimes where I pay much more attention to the key levels because money flow's chopped. So there you go. But that's what I would look at on XRP. Let's take a quick look at AVAX. So yeah, we looked at AVAX yesterday. Creeping in here. Looks like a bull pennant to me. Now again, I don't trade patterns, but it does look like bullish consolidation, right? So you would expect, at least from a pattern perspective, for this to break to the upside. Again, not something I would trade alone, but it is what it is. And you are within this low volume gap, right? We can see price move very quickly through these gaps, which would be a move to the upside. And when we start to mark out, I'm going to hide this gap just to clean the chart up. I mean, I would say the next big target about 35.95, and then the value area high at 40.80. Let me pull some horizontals here for you guys. And I don't have any on the chart, which is actually kind of nice because I can start nice and fresh, right? So I'm going to hide this. Let's pull up some MPOCs. Now, what I'm going to be looking for here, guys, is confluence on these levels, right? If I can get confluence on 35.90 up to 40.80 or 40.65, this would be nice. That means it's a big level of resistance, especially if it's confluent with your macro fib, which would be pulled from here to here, which you have it up here at 40.50. So let me go ahead and pull some of these MPOCs up real quick. So weekly. Oh, look at that. You have a weekly MPOC with that high volume node. Weekly MPOC. I'm only going to mark them if they're in this area just to save time. Normally, I would mark out all of these. Monthly MPOC. Well, look at that. It's exactly what we were looking for. Daily MPOCs. Might have to go into bar replay mode to get these. I don't know if that'll load up. Probably not. Yeah. Chopped. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, it won't work. Dang it. So I'm not going to be able to get the daily MPOCs there, unfortunately. Can get the, yeah, so we get the weekly MPOC, monthly MPOC. Let me just see if I have any horizontals in there. This is like a how to mark your chart up. Today's stream is like how to mark your chart up masterclass. Daily. Daily. Get a weekly in there. That'd be beautiful. Look at that. Just what I wanted. This is crazy. This is a lot of confluence in here. Huge level here, guys. Huge level. Monthly up there would be crazy. Not quite. Not quite. All right, so now come down to a lower time frame, and you guys can see here, where is the next confluent level of resistance? Same exact level we were looking at. The high volume node sitting right here. I'll pull that gap back up real quick, right? So it just goes to show there's not a lot of resistance here. Fast move down, fast move up. These low volume nodes, meaning an area on a profile where you do not, that's a high volume node. This is a low volume node. This is a high volume node. This is a low volume node. Price moves very fast through the low volume nodes. Fast move down, fast move up, fast move down, fast move up, fast move down, fast move down, right? Fast move, fast move, fast move. Very quickly through the gaps. Another gap right here. Fast move down, fast move up, fast move down, fast move up, fast move up, right? Potentially the case. And it does lead you into that major first zone of resistance. So the big levels I'd be looking at here, very clearly, this is like picture perfect. And you guys saw how I found those levels. First zone, 3380 to about 3459. Second zone, sitting up here between 3566 and 3668. So that gives, and you can see, there's just nothing in here. There were no MPOCs in this zone. There were no dailies in this zone. There were no monthly MPOCs in this zone. It's all up here, which kind of caters to the fact that you could get a quick move through here and then slam into the resistance, right? So this could be an area to look for another drop to the downside. So those are the key levels I would be looking at. And you can look at this as one giant zone if you really wanted to, between 3380 and 3665. 3665 to 3380. But I like to separate them into two tactical levels because that's just what I like to do. So yeah, those would be big targets to the upside if we can continue through that low volume gap, which again, oftentimes is the case. So that's what I would look for. And then if you continue down, key level of support, high volume node 2614, lose that, you're looking down towards the POC. But let's just see if we can stay up here and continue up to these next big levels. Definitely short opportunities up here as well. Again, you'd have to find confirmation, right? If there's no confirmation, there's no trade. But something like this, even to maybe put in a, let's pull this fib. Yeah, like maybe even to like put in a higher low. Because here's the thing, right? You have the high volume, you have the low volume gap, could be a quick move up, right? But if you get a rejection and break back into this low volume gap, well, hey, maybe you get another quick drop down. So could be an idea of looking up here for major resistance on AVAX. Another little freebie for the YouTube live stream. But guys, is Frankie still on? Shout out to Bitfrog. Oh, dang. It is 7:36, guys. So with all that being said, that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Shout out to McCallie said, Frankie, can we take a look at Pepe? I will write down Pepe for tomorrow. I will take a look at Pepe for you, brother. No problemo. But we are out of time here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Don't forget, please smash that like button on your way out. We really do appreciate it. It helps push out the channel into the algorithm. And we need all the help we can get in this kind of boring, wonky price action where everybody's losing hope. So smash that like button on your way out, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully all this helps you out. The little pep talks, the trading advice, right? Not financial advice, but like the trading mindset advice. And all the TA, all the key levels, and even some potential opportunities to look to take a trade. So with all that being said, that's all the time we got for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. It's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them two bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Hey, yo. Shout out to Dennis. Said, Frankie, last one, I promise. Few shows back, you thanked your community for being here. I think I'm speaking from the name of the whole mafia and every subscriber. We thank you. Shout out to Dennis. I do appreciate you guys, and I thank you. Don't thank me. I appreciate you for appreciating me. Appreciating you, appreciating me. I appreciate you for that. Shout out to Crypto Billy. But yeah, thank you. Shout out to Dennis. Thank you for saying that, bro. And yeah, forever grateful to be able to come up here and do this, guys. Like, I say this all the time. I have to wake up in the morning and pinch myself every day that I get to wake up and do this and share this journey with you guys and somehow in the process help other people better their lives, whether it's financially or just giving you good vibes on the stream. It blows my mind that I have this opportunity. So shout out to you guys. I will never take it for granted. I love each and every single one of you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't just say that. I absolutely mean it. So thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. 100K next. 100K next. We were talking about when we hit 80K subscribers. So 100K next. Let's get us there, baby. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the